I'm inviting Mr. Venkataraman Tirumallai, our charter member, to please introduce the speaker of today.
I'm really happy to introduce Mr. Sathya Kumar. I've been talking to him. Now he's a multifaceted personality doing many things, and I'm looking forward to a very exciting talk by him on the startup ecosystem. And this is something that's been, we Indians, there's millions of small business in India, but then there's not big recognition for them. There is not much government support. The question I've been asking him is, it's better we stay as far as away from the government. So the less the trouble. So government is always trouble according to me, but then anyways, government needs to win our trust. Basically, that's I think is the biggest problem. Whether it's the state government or the central government, we have a negative connotation about what government can do for especially startup business. So Mr. Sathya is going to convince us that's not the case and we should be more looking government favorably. And he's a chartered accountant by profession, and he works in a MNC firm looking at very many clients across the spectrum, both big clients and small clients. And he's been traveling around the ASEAN region. He was talking about that, and he's in a Malaysian Economic Forum, or also helping a Taiwanese giant coming into India. He's also in the Dalai Lama's Peace Foundation, and he's been doing very many talks and coachings for startup and entrepreneurs. He's also involved in the Prime Minister's initiative in this, and he also works closely with Nobel Peace Laureate Nobel Ignis on social business and education. He's also working in several suburban and rural initiatives. So somebody, I think, with a complete multifaceted thing on big business, big chartered accountancy firm, and the laws, and also the government initiatives. I think he is the apt person to talk on the startup ecosystem in India. We are very happy from Thai to have you, Mr. Sathya, and we look forward to a wonderful talk from you. Thank you.
It's been quite some time. I was speaking to the executive director, Ms. Akila ma'am, about the Startup India movement. She was proactively accepted for this program. I think today the government is looking upon startup for two reasons behind it. One, the total economy, the majority of the contribution to the gross domestic product is by the SME and MSME, not by the giant companies. Yes, they are branded companies from India. Believe me, the economy is being driven by the MSME and micro and small medium and SMEs basically. So if this is the situation of the country, then the government has to respond for this agenda of growth of this enterprises basically. There are two ways of growing it. One, by just giving a tax benefit or giving some tax incentive packages or incentive packages from the state level or the central level, or making it a brand new initiative. So all that the new government has done is they have brought in a campaign, a vision, or I would say kind of a vibrancy, a positive vibrancy around the economy with a campaign called Startup India and Stand Up India. Now many people when they participate the sessions, they ask only after the government came out with this campaign whether the startup is happening. For information, TIE is already there in the system for many years, and they have been doing a wonderful job. I have been attending since my college days the TICON program. It all accidentally happened when I was in college. Somebody told there is an event happening for entrepreneurs. Why can't you start attending it? I just started attending from 2007, and then on and on. In TIE 2016, 2015, it was a huge event, happened in ITC Grand Chola, and every year they have been recognizing the entrepreneurs. That means it is clear that startup revolution is not a new thing in the country, but recognition by the government is something new, which the new government has started doing it. Second, the startup initiative being spoken by the Prime Minister seems to be a new thing, because he knows very well if this startup or entrepreneurship is not given incentives or the boost, then the economy will suffer in the future. That is the reason he proactively, with the vision in mind, the Prime Minister, that too on August 15, 2015, the most important day, that is Independence Day, he made a statement, Startup India and Stand Up India. And then the government started working on the policy document, and on January 16, 2016, he came out with the policy document. It was made as a public announcement, and after that, a lot of development happened based on that policy. Now, if you look at the economy of India, I am not going to compare India with any other country. I am just going to compare with the BRICS nation as such. BRICS is going to be the future of the world, and if you look at the BRICS nation, it is clearly shown that the growth in India is on the positive side. And second, when we compare China, our economic growth is projected around 7.5% as against China, which is 6.3%. If you look at Brazil, the growth is in negative. If you look at Russia, the growth is in negative. Then if you look at South Africa, the growth is meager. But India is at the growth is at 7.5%. I am not telling this. This data is substantiated by the International Monetary Fund report. Today, India, as per the March report published by the International Monetary Fund, India is in the bright spot of growth. And one more factor is young and the restless. The youth population in India today is about 60% of the population. We have about 1.3 billion population, and out of 1.3 billion population, 60% are youth population. This youth population can be made as a liability if they are not empowered. This youth population can be made as an asset to the growth of the economy if they are empowered. The Startup India, Stand Up India initiative is the project to empower the youth by giving the boost and encouragement to start business. Now, is the government looking at starting large-scale entrepreneurship business or businesses? Answer is no. In fact, the speech given by the Prime Minister is looking at the MSME and SME sector. He says if someone is able to float a business and is able to employ 5 or 4 people, that is all about entrepreneurship, the spirit of entrepreneurship. After that, the business will automatically scale up over a period of time, definitely with the efforts and the support of the government, which the government has assured in this policy to give. And of course, the Startup India, Stand Up India policy, it's only a policy document, it is not an act. So this policy document has to be supported by the amendment in the respective act. For example, they talk about tax incentive and the startup policy. That means the Income Tax Act has to be amended. They talk about fast track exit mechanism. That means bankruptcy and insolvency bill has to be passed. It's already passed in the parliament. It is just waiting for the president assent. So all these enablers of the Startup India has to happen through various enactments, and the government is proactive in doing that as well. So when the Prime Minister gave the speech on the Startup India policy document, he said there are millions of ideas and thousands of creative minds and under one roof, that is our country, and that's what he looks as an asset of this nation. Now, if you look at the total output of the engineers is fairly very high in the country. Many people today, the engineering graduates are not employable as per one of the reports published. They have said that especially the engineers from Tamil Nadu, 80% are not employable is the report it says. It is not the problem of the candidate, it is a problem of the education system. What's happening in the education system? Let me be very fair. It's me or you. Everybody read some books. We understood the subject in the way we want to understand, or rather it is understood in a way theoretically, and we try to write the exams for 3 hours and pass that examination, and we call ourselves as the experts or the engineers or lawyers or chartered accountants or whatever may be the profession we are in, and we claim ourselves to be experts. Answer is no. We are not experts for a simple reason. There is no research activity that is being taken care. Now, as in Taiwan, I have been regularly visiting Taiwan. Now Taiwan is number 1 in the innovation in the world, and their population is only about 28.3 million, which is hardly a fraction of India's population. But they are number 1 in the innovation. The reason is not because of the people, it is because of the education system, the way they are looking at the research and also the innovations. There the respect is more for the innovation than the degree a particular person is holding. Same applies to the US also. Most of the people today, you look at top companies like Google, Microsoft, people left colleges to start the business because they had the belief on the business they are starting. Today everybody speak about that business. They have a disruptive solutions they bring in. So I think the innovation is what we should look at as the next wave in India. Further, the education system has to be changed. Nowhere in the policy they have spoken about changing the education system, but it is clearly visible when the engineer is not employable, even though there are a lot of opportunities available, market is there, still he is not able to employ, is not being employed means, that means there is a serious problem of the respective person thinking on his own or bringing on innovation. And the government is not looking at making, for example, there are 100 set of students, to make all the 100 people an entrepreneur. That can never happen. They are only trying to encourage the thinking process. They are only telling the students, look, through our initiatives, why can't you think other than your employment? Why can't you start up on your own? If you have a good idea, definitely there are going to be a lot of opportunities for you through over a period of time. The mechanism how the government is going to support is everything is discussed in the policy document. And one more thing, what's happening today is many people pursue mechanical engineering and subsequently sit in the IT industry. Many people pursue information technology as an engineering course but accidentally sit in the investment banking. And somewhere they're moving out from the core expertise. And this is actually a problem for skill development. In India today, when the present government came in, they came out with the Ministry for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, which is headed by the Raju Pratap Rudy. Now, why did they come out with this? Today, there are engineers, but no welders. Today, there are a lot of engineers, but no teachers, primary school teachers. Today, there are engineers, but no gardeners. Today, there are engineers, but there is no person to fix tube light in your home. Neither you or I can fix the tube light in our home. This is a problem of skill. Now, government is not looking at skill means developing the skill through education. They are looking at developing the skill through actual training. For example, one more information. In the countries I have visited, there are countries where, let us take the example of Taiwan itself. In Taiwan, when somebody calls himself as the welder, he is the PhD in welding. He has done PhD in welding, and he started welding activity when he was 8th standard. So the interest started at that time, and he became the best welder in the country, and he brings best technology around that welding business. But here in India, there is a social stigma attached to that profession. So when I'm going to become the best welder in the country, people say, we are trying to make you an engineer, but you are looking at becoming a welder. I wanted to become the best carpenter. Nothing wrong. There the carpenter brings innovation around the carpenting, technology collaboration. But here when somebody says carpenter, you want to become a carpenter, that is the kind of attitude you have. So there's going to be a change in the thinking process. And how it can happen? It can only happen when the leader of the country says, look, starting up is the biggest thing. Starting up is looked upon by the government. Starting upon is looked upon by your family. When you create that positive vibration, automatically the ecosystem happens. Simple. How the thinking process is killed in India, especially in India. When a child comes from a school and talks about some new thing, we immediately tell the child, please don't talk this crap, go and start studying for your tomorrow's assignment or do your homework. We don't actually listen to the child. But the child has lot of ideas. This idea doesn't start coming when he was 8th standard or 10th standard. The dynamism to generate ideas starts when he or she is a kid. So, but we don't encourage ideas. So we tell them that go and study, and that whatever the history or the geography she studies or he studies is already outdated. 70% of syllabus in India is already outdated as per one of the statistics, which we are still studying, and we are getting gold medals in that, which is not relevant. So looking at that, the education policy has to change if Startup India policy and Stand Up India policy has to succeed in the country. All right. So whether Startup India revolution is first time happening in India, answer is no. For example, in Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore is always a startup hub. People from Coimbatore generally start a business and they scale up very, very high. Second region, Tirupur. I'm talking about SME companies. In Tirupur, Today, the total export from Tirupur is about 30,000 crores. I did not believe when I started pursuing my chartered accountancy. When I actually went there to give a lecture, there was a head of one of the association who was saying, sir, this is the report which we have given to the Prime Minister's office. The total export from Tirupur is 30,000 crores and our commission rate gets 700 crores income tax collection. And this is not done because of the government support. It was all done because of the enthusiasm and the courage of the entrepreneur from that place. And Chennai is not an exception. Chennai made its boom in the IT revolution. So is the Bangalore, so is the Pune, so is the Gurgaon. So we were somewhere, the entrepreneurship is already there within us, but the dynamism and the encouragement to do that is somewhere lacking, which the government is trying to do through various initiatives. This is the state of India today. And when I talk about entrepreneurship, many feel that starting an app, bringing out an app like Ola, Uber, these are only the startups in the recent time or the trend of the startups. Actually, any kind of new initiative I would put across, a new thinking, is an entrepreneurship. It's a startup. Now let me give you a small example of a fruit shop. The man who made difference in the fruit selling business, Kovai Palamudir Cholai. Today the brand is very big, and I'm confident when I enter their shop, the quality is assured, at least from my experience. So this Kovai Palamudir Cholai, what would have been his thought process when he started? Today the most important ingredient is the fruit, but that fruit is sold in the streets, but not in the shops when he started. So he identified that problem and he rectified that problem and he brought out a new initiative, and that is Kovai Palamudir Cholai. I've been speaking in various panels with Senthil. Senthil is his son. He's a second generation entrepreneur who is excited about taking the business. And today it is 150 crore enterprise. So many will feel how this fruit shop can become 150 crore enterprise. Believe me, it can scale up to billion also, because every entrepreneur identifies a problem in the society. First of all, if you encourage entrepreneurship, it is also a social cause. The reason is every entrepreneur rectifies a problem, identifies a problem and rectifies a problem. Let me put across my own experience. I live in a place called Tambaram. When I was doing my chartered accountancy, that is when I moved from rural area to Tambaram to take up the professional courses. So when I joined this chartered accountancy, morning time there used to be a bus called 21G. So I have to catch that bus from Tambaram. So my homes used to be situated in Camp Road. So I have to catch an auto or a bus to come to the railway station or the bus stop. So getting an auto or a bus is an uncertainty in the morning time. 5 o'clock or 5:15, you have to go wait in the road, look around whether the auto will come or bus will come, and most of the time doesn't come. Now today, when I actually go to the airport or when I go for the railway station, morning time, before when I go to do my basic things, through my app, either I book an Uber or Ola, and then I just book it and the car is already there in my home. So I'm able to save my time, my problem is rectified, the uncertainty is gone. Today I'm able to travel with ease. So I'm talking about a scenario, the entrepreneurship can give you millions and billions and zillions, but it has actually rectified a problem in the society. So that is entrepreneurship, the new thinking, which should actually create new avenues incidentally. That should give you the byproduct of that is called money, which the businessman makes. Whatever the entrepreneurs I'm talking here, primarily they had passion towards their business. Passion should drive our entrepreneurship. For example, I'm going to talk about Gram Power. This man, Yuvraj Kaitan, is a Berkeley University graduate. This man, when he actually graduated from Berkeley, he came and set up a power company in a remote village in Rajasthan. Many said, why are you are educated in Berkeley, you are supposed to be in US, or you are supposed to be in a metro city in India where you work in a top-notch company. But this man went up to set up the Gram Power. Nobody recognized at that point of time. In fact, the family members were against his wishes, is what I hear from various newses. But he went on to do that dynamically. He set up this company in the remote place, renewable energy, solar power. He used all the renewable energy to generate electricity. Believe me, today Gram Power gets electricity bill in prepaid model. In Chennai or any place for that matter, we pay the electricity bill maybe on 15th, if it is the last date, 15th, 5 o'clock, we may be in the queue and pay the electricity bill. But here is a scenario where people are getting the company is getting, it's a private enterprise, and the company is getting in prepaid model. Now, what is the passion he had? The passion he had was to rectify a problem of power in the particular village. That is the main thing. The incidental thing is recognition. The incidental thing is today the company being profitable or scaling up the business. And this is called entrepreneurship, with the Startup India policy is also talking about. Then let me speak about yet another entrepreneur, Srikanth Bola. Srikanth Bola is a visually challenged person. In the April month, when the CII Emerging Entrepreneurship Award was organized in the southern region, he won the Emerging Entrepreneur Award in the hands of Maman Mapillai, the MRF Tire MD. Srikanth Bola, he wanted to take up the high school examination. As he was visually challenged, the government of Andhra Pradesh at that point of time did not allow him to write the exams. He applied in the court of law and he got the approval in the court, and then he wrote the exam. He ended up getting 98% in the 10th class. Then when he wrote 12th standard, he applied for the IIT entrance, but IIT came back and said he is not eligible, the entrance exam he is not eligible to take up because he is visually challenged. Then destiny did not stop there. He had the passion to pursue higher studies. He applied to the US universities and he got the seat in the Manchester Institute of Technology. He went there and he got graduated from Manchester Institute of Technology. If somebody is in his position, at least if I'm in his position, probably I would have taken up a better job. I would remain in US because there are a lot of retirement benefits which I have in US. Social security programs are there. So probably I would have remained in US and then enjoyed that life. But this man came back to India. He started an enterprise called Bolent Industries. Today the Bolent Industries is about 50 crore enterprise and is employing abled person. Here is a man who are disabled has actually employed the abled person. And it is a social enterprise because it has been set up in a remote village in Andhra Pradesh. I think this is what is entrepreneurship is all about. This is all the government is recognizing, and this happened not just because the government gave the benefits, not just because the government was encouraging it. This is because his heart was in the entrepreneurship. His heart was in the problem. He wanted to do something for the nation, and accordingly he set up his enterprise. And today it is 50 crore enterprise, and everybody is ready to fund his company. After the news came up in the Business Line and Economic Times and Times of India, and he got recognized in the CIA. He also has met with Abdul Kalam in various meetings, and he has spoken in Harvard, Stanford, and many universities, and is one of the icons in the business field today among the young entrepreneurs. He is well known. He also spoke in our Tycon last year, 2015, Mr. Velumani. He runs an enterprise called ThyroCare. This ThyroCare is a process innovation. This process innovation, he was working in the Baba Atomic Research Foundation, and he is from Coimbatore, and he's from a remote village. He was the first graduate from his family. He went to Bombay. He was working for a meager salary, and he did his PhD, and then subsequently was looking at what to do for the people who are suffering to test, or rather many people are unaware that they have diseases. There is a statistics which says that many people who think healthy are not actually healthy. They're already suffering some diseases here and there. So how it can be detected? Only through